Hello everyone, this is Sam Spade and welcome to another Coding Fundamentals in GML tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be talking about the keywords break and continue. Break and continue are keywords in GameMaker Studio 2. Break ends a loop immediately, and continue skips an iteration of that loop. In other words, it ends that portion of the loop, but it doesn't break out of the whole loop. Both break and continue can be used with for, repeat, while, do until, and with loops. So here is an example for break. Let's say that you have an inventory and your inventory is an array and you want to add something to your inventory. One way you might want to do this is by looping through or iterating through the inventory until you find the first empty spot. And we'll just say that you're marking empty spots as -1. Now, once you've found the empty spot, you'd want to add the item to the inventory, but then you wouldn't want to keep looping through the rest of the inventory. You'd want to simply end. And that's what break allows you to do. So in this example, you have a basic for loop where you're looping through an array in this case, and you're checking each position of the array to see if it equals -1. And as soon as you find an empty position or an empty space in the inventory, you would add the item, and then you would use the keyword break, and that would end this entire for loop. It would immediately end, you would exit, and whatever code came next would start executing. So next up, we have an example of continue. So in this case, let's again assume that we have inventory that's in an array or an inventory represented by an array. And we want to do something with every space of that inventory that is not empty. So here we could use continue instead. We can loop through the array exactly as before, and if that inventory space is empty, we would continue. We would go on to the next iteration of the loop, and we would not then run any of this code. So if the space is empty, we'll just go back and restart. If the space is not empty, then we would do whatever we wanted to do with that space in the inventory. Let's switch over to GameMaker Studio 2 for a couple quick examples. In our first example, we're going to loop through the numbers 0 through 4, and if the number is even, we are going to print that loop number out and print hello world beneath it. So let's go through. 0 counts as an even number in this case, so we're going to print out the loop number and print out hello world. Now I is equal to 1. 1 is odd, so that will trigger this continue, and we're simply going to skip this code. You'll see this jump back up to here. There we go. Now we're on 2. 2 is even, so we will continue on, print out the loop number, print out hello world. Now I is equal to 3, and that is odd, so the continue will trigger. We'll skip that iteration, go back. I is now equal to 4, that is odd. Sorry, that is even. We'll print it down here, and that's the end of the loop. This second example, we'll use break. Here, we've set up an endless loop while true. As we discussed in the tutorial on while and do until, this will be endless. This condition will always evaluate the true. However, with the use of break, we can actually still exit this loop. So we will initialize I to 0, and then we'll start the while loop, and we will see if I is greater than or equal to 5, we're going to break out of the while loop. Otherwise, we're going to print the loop number and print the message hello world, and then make I one more, or increment I. So I is 0, 0 is not greater than or equal to 5. We will continue, print out loop 0, hello world, increment I, keep going. Now we have I equal to 3. It's still not greater than or equal to 5, so we'll keep going. And now I is equal to 5, so now this will trigger as 5 is greater than or equal to 5. We will hit the break, we'll come in here, and we'll simply exit this entire while loop. And there we are. Our tests are done. In summary then, break ends a loop, completely stops it and goes on to the code after the loop, and continue skips an iteration of the loop. It will skip whatever would happen in that section of the loop and re-loop. And both can be used with for, repeat, while, do until, or with loops. As always, the links in this slide will be below, along with a link to the slide itself and the source code. And that's it. Thanks for watching.